What's up, guys? Today I will be giving you my picks for JDM versus Carlos Prates. This is actually a pretty stacked card. We have one of the greatest fighters of all time on this card, Tai Tuivasa, and we have Shamil Gaziev fighting one fight after him. Rarely will you get fights this good back to back with the Louis Sutherland feature as well. So I hope you guys are excited for this. In all seriousness, though, this is actually a pretty good card. We got Junior Tafa, another blob. We have Tim Elliott, Steve Erceg, Benil Dariush, Quillen Salkild, JDM, Carlos Prates, and even on the prelims, we have Colby Thickenese, we have Themba Grimbo, The Rock's favorite fighter. We have a lot of great fights on here. So without further ado, let's get started. The first fight on this card is Don Marfan versus Cody Steele. Cody Steele, he's actually a pretty entertaining fighter. I myself am a Cody Steele enjoyer. His debut against Rong Zhu was a very, very entertaining fight, in my opinion. It was fight of the night, one of my favorite fights of the year, actually, and he showed that he was a dog. Unfortunately, he did not show that he was that skilled. Rong Zhu was pretty decent, but Cody Steele, I didn't give him a round of that fight. He made every round competitive. He made every round interesting, and I think that was just about a year ago. And he's had a lot of time off, so maybe he's gotten better. But Don Marfan is actually a legitimately good prospect, in my opinion. He made his debut. It was earlier this year, I think. Yeah, it was. And he actually did pretty good. He won every round except maybe the third, in my opinion. But even then, it was more like he was coasting in the third because he knew he already won. And it was still a competitive round. Don Marfan, he was good at sticking and moving, keeping his range. He knew exactly what he had to do to win. I expect he's probably the favorite in this one. Oh, he's not the favorite in this one. That's a little surprising. All right, I'm picking Don Marfan as an underdog for this fight. I got him by decision, but us Cody Steele enjoyers are hoping for a Cody Steele win. Next up, we got Jonathan Mikhailov versus Themba Grimbo. I've heard a rumor that this is a do or die fight for Themba if he loses, but unfortunately for him, I do think he will be losing this fight. Jonathan Mikhailov is actually a pretty decent fighter as well. In his last fight, he fought Oban Elliott, and I thought he was actually losing on the feet outside of the knockdown he scored, but Oban Elliott did end up shooting a takedown on him, and just like an MMA fighter, stuck his head. No, it wasn't a guillotine. I think it was a rear naked. Jonathan Mikhailov showed enough fight IQ to take advantage of Oban Elliott, giving him that sub. And I actually think Themba's a step down from Oban. I've never rated Themba that highly. So I think I'm going to pick Jonathan Mikhailov by this one. I think a second round sub is how I'm going to pick him. All right. Now we have fight of the year, Ben Johnson versus Wes Schultz. If you're not excited about this one, then I'm sorry to tell you, but you're a casual. This is maybe my most anticipated fight, not even of the year, I think. Maybe just of the century, maybe ever. Ben Johnson versus Wes Schultz, a rising Australian prospect right out of Eternal MMA against Wes Schultz. But I'm not going to hold that against him because it's impossible to finish Pinas. Pinas finishes everyone and has never gotten finished. I'd like to see you try to finish Pinas, but Pinas did finish him in the first round by knockout. But Ben Johnson, I don't think is as good as Damian Pinas. But I still think he's better than Wes Schultz. So I'll pick Ben Johnson by a second round submission because Ben Johnson actually is a pretty decent finisher. I think he's finished all of his wins. Most of them come by sub. So I'll be picking Ben Johnson, second round finish. But Wes Schultz should be an underdog. a live underdog. He's not that bad. I just have Ben Johnson over him, especially hometown advantage. Ben Johnson, they definitely gave him this fight as a winnable matchup for him because they want him to win in front of the Australian crowd. So we'll be picking Ben Johnson by second round submission. All right, moving up the card, we have Colby Thickenese versus Vince Morales. I think I'm just gonna stop clicking the. Oh, there we go. This one loaded quick. Colby Thickenese versus Vince Morales. Vince Morales, I'll be honest here, he's not as bad as his record may seem. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. However, all of those losses have come against pretty decent fighters. His last loss, I think, was Raul Rosas Jr. Before that, Elijah Smith. Those are two pretty good prospects in the division. I think Elijah Smith will be ranked soon. Raul Rosas is already ranked, but I still have Colby Thickenese for this one. Colby made a pretty close fight with Alexandre Topuria, and I think Topuria is pretty good. And a lot of people I think Colby was actually third round. He was picking it up, made Topuria grapple a lot because on the feet, Colby was actually doing pretty good. And I know in Colby's last fight, he did not look the best against, was it Josiah Musasa? I think that's who it was. But at the same time, I do think he was injured in that fight. A lot of people thought Josiah's won, but I think Colby Thickenese was injured in that fight. So I'll be picking Colby. But don't be surprised if Vince Morales wins. He's fought some pretty good comp. So is Colby, though, and I think he's had a better showing in that comp. All right, next fight. Jacob Malkoun versus GM3. I really want to pick GM3 for this one. The GM3 Masterclass is exactly what the world needs right now. But I think I have to pick Jacob Malkoun. Jacob Malkoun looked pretty good against the 4'1", 730-pound blob. Maybe not a blob, but the stubby thumb of what's his name again? Torres Finney. That was it. But Torres Finney also didn't shoot a takedown on him until later. Tried to strike with him for some reason and was injured in that fight. Plus, I've never rated Torres Finney that high. For Jacob Malkoun to not be able to finish him, especially that version of Torres, that was a little concerning. However, GM3 is on a losing streak right now. He might have lost his mythical powers. He's on a 4-fight losing streak to Kyle Dawkins, Mikhail Olegzashek, Brad Tavares. I think he's Brad Tavares' only win in the last 5 fights for Brad Tavares. And Rainer de Ritter. Most of those aren't horrible fighters, but it's the way he's looked in all of them. Finished in 3 out of 4 of those. The one he wasn't finished was also by a not that great fighter. I might have to pick Jacob Malkoun. And I also think this might be GM3's retirement fight if he loses this one. So his head's probably not in the game. All the momentum is toward Jacob Malkoun. I think he's on a 2-fight winning streak. I'm going to have to go Jacob Malkoun for this one. But GM3 could always pull it off. The longer this goes, if GM3 can make this a dogfight, I could see this being GM3 doesn't survive a dogfight, actually. Not anymore. I think I have Jacob Malkoun. I just can't see a way of GM3 winning this one. But those are the times when he shines the most. So maybe he will. I hope he does. Let's see. On to the next fight. We have Junior Tafa versus Kevin Christian. Woo! Junior Tafa. I can't believe I'm saying this. I've got Junior Tafa by a first-round KO. I know his record does not look the best. I'm pretty sure he's 6-5. Let's see. I think he's 6-5. But Kevin Christian also isn't the best. And who was Junior Tafa's last fight? It was not a bad fighter at all. And he had a pretty good first round against Bailey Alicana. Pretty good second round. It's how you finish Junior Tafa. That's how you beat him. You grapple him. But I don't see Kevin Christian grappling him. He may, just because it's so easy to do so. But is it that easy? He was kind of hard to take down by Bailey Alicana. Billy Elicana did pretty good against uh what's his name? Bogdan Guskov. Junior Tafa had a better first round against Billy Elicana than Bogdan Guskov did. And I think Elicana would have beaten Guskov if he hadn't gassed out because he came in on short notice up a weight class. And I know that's the same weight class, but he had not decided to fight in that weight class yet. And coming in short notice, that was not the best version of him. And Junior Tafa did pretty good. And Kevin Christian, I know I'm glossing over this. He got subbed by Billy Elicana in the first round. Junior Tafa did also lose to Tuco Tokos by submission. Am I really picking? Oh, okay. If I pick Junior Tafa and he loses, I'm the dumbest person in the world. But I think I'm picking Junior Tafa. I got Junior Tafa, first round KO. This is not because I think Junior Tafa is amazing. He's pretty good on the feet, but it's mostly because I just think he's better than Kevin Christian. All right. Next fight on the card, Cam Rousen versus Robert Brychek. Cam Rousen's last fight was against my favorite fighter in the world, the always tough out, the new Anthony Smith, Cody Brundage. Who does that to Cody Brundage? Who makes Cody Brundage curl up into a ball and lose by TKO? A lot of people do, but most of the people who do that are actually kind of decent. Cody Brundage looked okay in his last fight, but maybe that was mostly because Dante Johnson just isn't that good. But still, I think he could have won that fight. And Cam Rouston beat him pretty handedly. So do a lot of people. But again, they're usually pretty decent fighters. And Robert Brychek is pretty decent, all right himself from what I've seen. But he did lose to Ihor Pateria. And his only win in the UFC is Brad Tavares. I'm sorry, I have to pick Cam Rouston. This is a pretty easy one for me. I'm picking Cam Rouston. Up next, opening the main card, we have Tai Tuivasa fighting Louis Sutherland. This is for the BMI belt of the UFC. Bad blood in this matchup. Mostly diabetes, but bad blood in this matchup. I got Tai Tuivasa. I can't believe I'm picking Tai Tuivasa, but I am. Louis Sutherland genuinely might be one of the worst heavyweights on the roster. Tai might also be at this point in his career, but I think he's good enough to beat Louis Sutherland. Louis Sutherland was finished in the first round by Brando Pericic, and I think subbed by Walter Walker in the first round as well. But they're pretty good fighters, so even though we've only seen him lose, we've also only seen him fight against decent comp. But from what I've seen from him, I think Tai can beat him. His Tai's also only lost to ranked level fighters. Even if they're not good ranked level, they're still ranked level fighters. I've got Tai Tuivasa by a second round KO. And again, same as the Junior Tafa one. If Tai loses, I look like the dumbest person in the world. So I'm putting my reputation on the line right here. Tai Tuivasa, Junior Tafa. I got both of them winning. And of course, we have the easiest pick of the night, Shamil Gaziev versus Brando Pericic. I got Shamil, the Blob, Gaziev. Look at that man. My favorite Bahrainian volleyball player. He's winning. First round KO. And that first or second round KO. Brando Pericic is pretty decent, but one of his best wins is Louis Sutherland, who is not good, especially now that Louis Sutherland is off the regional scene sauce and he's just a Blob. That's not that great of a win. And Louis Sutherland may be a Blob, but Shamil is the Blob. I got Shamil beating him. Shamil's actually pretty underrated. He has not the best cardio, but he's got great pressure. Even though he may gas, he'll gas you out as well, for the most part, unless you're a decent ranked level fighter like Rosenstruik. Even then, Rosenstruik lost the first two rounds, in my opinion. And the third was pretty close. Yeah, I got Shamil. In a 3-round fight, he beats Rosenstruik. And his only loss in the UFC is to the Dominican Poppy. if that Rosenstrike fight was 3 rounds. And I know shoulda, coulda, woulda if my mom if my what is it? My grandma had wheels, she'd be a bust. She wouldn't. First of all, she'd just be a grandma with wheels. But I'm picking Shamil Gaziev. He's pretty decent. Now, I think he beats Brando Pericic. However, don't be surprised if he doesn't. Brando has shown to at least be better than the bottom feeders of the heavyweight division, which isn't saying a lot, but it might be enough to beat Shamil. So we'll see. All right. Next fight, Marwan Rahiki versus Ali Schmid. I got Marwan Rahiki. I am a little worried about this pick, though, because he did go to war with Harry Hardwick. That's not a good look, but I also think it's because he knew he could go to war with Harry Hardwick and just decided to throw caution to the wind. But he also does that. He did that in his Contender Series fight as well. He got caught, went to war, but he won both by finish. I know Harry Hardwick and some Contender Series guy isn't the best comp, but it's better than anything we've seen out of Ali Schmidt. 4-2 record as well. Yeah, I've got Marwan Rahiki. I think he's put here for this to be a showcase fight, and the odds agree with me. I got Marwan Rahiki right here. All right. The featured fight of the card. We got Tim Elliott versus Steve Erceg. This is Pantoja's legacy on the line. Tim Elliott beats Steve Erceg. Pantoja is never passing up DJ on the GOAT list, even if he wins the belt back. I got Tim Elliott. I actually have Tim Elliott in this one. Sorry, and I have Marwan Rahiki by, I'll say, a first round finish. Second round, I've got Marwan Rahiki by a second round finish. Tim Elliott, I've got him by a decision against Steve Erceg, a damage-based decision where he rocks him a couple times. Steve Erceg won't be able to get the grappling going. I think Tim Elliott is a more dangerous grappler as well, more opportunities for subs. So if Steve Erceg does start to grapple him, I think it'll be danger for him. Even though I think Steve Erceg is the better grappler, Tim Elliott, in my opinion, is the more dangerous one. So I think if it goes to the ground, even though Steve Erceg may be able to control him out, scramble him out, grapple him, it'll look better for Tim Elliott going for subs, looking for subs. And on the feet, I think Erceg's a better striker, but I don't really trust his chin anymore. I don't know. Tim Elliott went to a razor-close fight with Muhammad Mokaev and would have won if he didn't get subbed in the third round, Muhammad Mokaev style. He also beat Sumerdaji, who I think would give Steve Erceg a pretty tough fight, in my opinion. Sumerdaji is a pretty decent fighter in the flyweight division. I think he would give Steve Erceg a tough fight. And Steve Erceg, in my opinion, got dominated by Brandon Moreno. Not dominated. It was a 3-2 domination, one of those classic 48-47 dominations. So it wasn't a domination. But he got beat pretty clearly by Brandon Moreno. And I don't know. He hasn't looked like the guy he's been in the Pantoja fight ever since the Pantoja fight. And Brandon Moreno isn't as good as we thought. He was, but he's kind of been washed up as of recent. And he was in the Steve Erceg fight as well. In my opinion, that was a regressed Moreno. And he still beat Erceg pretty handedly. Ode Osborne brought Steve Erceg to a close decision. I think Tim Elliott pretty handedly beats Ode Osborne without any troubles. I got Tim Elliott in this fight, and I got him by a decision. That's an underdog pick for me. Now, Beneil Dariush, I'm sorry. I don't know why they've done this to you. I've got Quillan Salkilled by a first-round KO. And really, that's how you have to pick it. Quillan Salkilled, I think first time he touches Dariush on the chin, I've got him by, I would say a head kick, but yeah, no, I've got him with a head kick. Either a head kick or a grazing punch off the temple puts Dariush out cold, similar to the BSD style. But instead of being in the pocket in the clinch, I've got it at range, kind of similar to the Anton Jubilee KO. I think Dariush, he's a little bit of I was going to say he's underrated in this fight because if he can make it to the second, third rounds, he's pretty skilled. I don't see you outskilling Dariush. He's really skilled, but it's his chin. I just don't think he can get hit clean on the chin by someone as good as Salkilled. and survive. So I've got Sal killed. I think this is going to be a standout performance for Sal killed. He's beaten guys with better chins, put them out cold. Dariush, I think his best days are behind him, chin wise. Skill wise, he could always pull anything off, but chin wise, I just don't see him doing it. I've got Quill and Sal killed by first round KO. Now we have Jack Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates. I've got, hmm, I've got Carlos Prates, and I don't think it's as close as people say. I really don't. Jack Della Maddalena gets hit on the chin a lot. I know people say he has great defense, and he does when he tries to. But who has Bilal damaged as much as he's damaged JDM? Who has Basil Hafez damaged as much as he's damaged JDM? And I know on the feet it wasn't as competitive, but that wasn't until Basil gassed out late in the fight. And I know he was on the roids, but he also took it on short notice, and he was hitting Jack on the chin pretty frequently. And I don't know. So was Bilal. Islam destroyed his front lead leg. Gilbert Burns won the second round based on having the more damage done on the feet as well. Those aren't the best fighter. Bilal is pretty good. That version of Burns, I think he was already washed by then, but you could argue he was still decent at that point. But none of them are known for their amazing striking, at least at the point where they were in their career. And I think Carlos Prates just has more power than all of them. If he hits Jack on the chin cleanly, I think he puts him out. Jack even said Gilbert Burns rocked him a little bit. Bilal was not rocking him, but he was damaging him bad, kind of stunning him a little bit. I think if Carlos Prates hits you with those same shots, he's putting you out. I've got Carlos Prates by a second round KO. Of course, JDM could bring this longer in the fight and beat Carlos Prates with the body shots, maybe gas him out. But I've got Carlos Prates. His leg kicks, I think, will be better than JDM's body shots. I've got Carlos Prates by a second round KO. And those are my picks. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video, and let me know what you think. All right, see you guys later.